which I wanted to talk to you about as well. So I've been a little MIA, but I've been wanting to come up on here and chat with y'all, right? So, hey, girl, where's everybody beaming in from? Are we all in New York? Are we in LA, Atlanta, Dallas, Florida, another country? Where is everybody? And I also want to know how your summer has been. I feel like August flew by. Like, literally, I blinked and it is now August 23rd. Hot ass Houston. Oh God, girl. I'm from Dallas, so I know the Texan summers. Nobody knows what it was like. A Texas summer will beat your ass. Okay. The heat is triple digits. Y'all have humidity and we had dry heat. So I just remember going to Houston to visit my cousins, and there was no reason to be pressing your hair or straightening your hair because it was gonna poof right up immediately. Um, that's what I remember about Houston. Oh, you're from DC. Okay, so you're just getting acclimated to this climate. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I'm praying for you, girl. And that's why everything is air conditioned. In Texas, everything is air conditioned. It is like you go from your air conditioned car to the air conditioned building, right back to your car. You're not like walking around in this type of heat. Though DC, I remember being humid too. DC has like a humidity issue as well. So like my heart goes out to you. New York has also been humid because of the weather, like the storms. So it's just like it's going back and forth. This morning, my boyfriend left early in the morning for a trip, and I like saw him off, and it was, I mean, torrential downpour. I go back to sleep. I wake up like an hour, 2 hours later. Perfect. Like the sun is shining right now. It's just like very weird right now in New York, the weather. Cece Campbell, you're in Paris, honey. I love it. I'm in Paris. It's finally getting to fall weather, no AC. Okay, so I heard y'all had a horrible heat wave. Um, and like it was scorching during couture week. My friends were out there and they were literally wearing just like little shorts, little boom boom shorts, little poom poom shorts, walk around Paris because it was because y'all aren't made for this. Y'all aren't built for this. It was kind of like going to school in the Northeast. Um, None of the dorms really had AC like that because it just wasn't built for that. Um, Damn, girl, I'm so sorry. I just saw the pictures. I saw the recounts, and y'all don't really have AC. So tell me what you were doing. I'm also coming to Paris in a few weeks. I'm really excited. I'm going with Chanel Beauty to the little event that they're doing. Not even a little event, it's a big event that they're doing. And I'm gonna be in Paris for like literally 48 hours. But who cares? I I'm gonna take the trip. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll go whenever you want me to be. I'll be there. It's Paris. Like fuck yeah. Yes. I no, and I'm originally from New York City, so I wasn't made. Oh, so you moved to Paris. I love that. That's like the dream. That's the dream. I want to know more about that because New York. Listen, I love New York, especially living in Mamdani, but America right now has a problem. It's this is the hood. This is ghetto as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Let's let's be real. We need to get the fuck out of here. All the transplants are melting in other cities and countries. I believe it. 'Cause it's, like, not set up, like, in the infrastructure, y'all don't have AC. So it's like, what the fuck? Oh, child, I can't even. I can only imagine. We got some more people coming in. We have Princess Baby Girl, come on, is in the building. Hello. Ann Walters joins. Mary Beth Shimon. Am I saying it correctly? Ashnell Hall, Avery Armand. Hi, hi, hi. Um, I'm just like wanting to see where you guys are all beaming in from and how your summer has been going so far. I would totally move abroad. Totally. That's not even a question. I know it would be difficult, but you know what? We'd figure it out. We'd figure out some solutions. I think an issue though is like my partner is really like anchored here. He like has a store. So I think that would just be something we'd have to figure out. But I could also see him doing that in Paris or London or Italy or someplace like that, or doing it even out in Asia. Like that's where he is right now. So I'm down to get out of here. Yes. I would be down to get out of here. Um, did you move for work? Because that's the only other thing is like just finding work there. I probably would find work there a lot easier than here in New York. One of the hardest parts is hardly any Jamaicans in Paris. So, like, let's talk about that. What I do remember when I went to Paris and into Europe is how do I word this? Black culture in Europe is not as pronounced in the way it is in America because American culture is black culture, right? Black culture is American culture. So it just kind of is like in the air and like the way that we carry ourselves, I think as Black Americans, we have a certain air because I think we walk into a room and we kind of own it and we like suck the air out of a room and you know we you can't shut us up. You can't. Um and so when I was in Paris, I remember being like, oh, niggas were in Paris, but it wasn't like like there was something about it where because France is so in a way homogenous or it's tries to pretend that it's homogenous racially, it was kind of like a suppression. So I could see finding other like a Jamaican culture, for instance, that type of celebration, very difficult. I feel like that could be very difficult. In London, I feel like there's kind of I don't know, there's something on my lip. I like feel like there's a larger presence, obviously because of immigration. Um, and I went to what did I go? I went to a really amazing Senegalese restaurant, and that is when I was like, "Oh wow, okay, I found the black people on this trip." Like, because that's what I was really looking for. And I also know that so many black people have been pushed to the outskirts of Paris. It's too much to type as why, but basically, the French believe if you decide to live you're French, not wherever else you came from, but I get it, I do. It's like you need to assimilate to France and to French customs, not the other way around, where it's like, we're gonna create space for you to bring your culture here. You need to assimilate to New York or to Paris. Um, that's how I feel about how New York used to be. Let's talk about it. Because in New York, when I moved here in 2005, yeah, it's been that long. When I moved here in 2005, in New York, you had to you had to become accustomed to New York. Do you know what I'm saying? Y Like, New York pitied no fools. So you needed to pick up your pace, you needed to learn the trains, you needed to, figure out what you're gonna wear because 'cause you're not wearing whatever the fuck you showed up in. That's for facts. You need to figure out where you're gonna live, what are the best places to eat, where are the best places to avoid. Like, you had to figure out New York because New York was on its own time, on its own pace, like, it it wasn't going to stop for you. So, the person I came as, like, May 2005 was not the same person I was by, like, December 2005. Do you know what I'm saying? Um Oh, thank you, Kamari. Um, so that's how New York used to be. But gentrification of New York has really changed the way that the city even like operates. I feel like now people who come to New York infiltrated from the Midwest and other flyover states, they bring their culture here and demand New York to capitulate to its needs. So that's why you have the suburbification of like a Williamsburg and why the gentrification of Bed-Stuy is so aggressive. Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, Prospect Heights is so aggressive because these people are like, no, we're the new set and we are going to set the terms of engagement when was historically the other way around. And that's why you don't really have like New Yorkers. And the New Yorkers that do exist here now, who are native New Yorkers, who are like born and raised, I feel like they are even more. They're doubling down even more on their identity and really owning the fact that they're from New York because there's so many people from other places who have moved here and tried to change the core, like central essence of the city. Which I think is why Mamdani is, like, a really incredible politician in that he's like, "No, no, 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 like, it is about affordability in the city and, like, who can like, we need to make sure that people can afford to live here." Because that was the whole point of the moving to New York, like, especially if you were creative, like, you could babe, like, you could go get a Soho loft for, like, no money and you'd be squatting, yes. You'd have no heat. You wouldn't have a landlord, all these types of things, but you could come here and you could live and you could afford it. And I think like Madonna was talking about that recently. I think she was talking about how when she was coming up, the reason why there were so many incredible artists at that time is that they could come to New York, they could live up very cheap, work a job to afford the way that they lived and then still have time to do their craft. Whereas I feel like now you have to decide, are you going to try to make enough money to live or are you going to try to make enough money to do your art? But the two shall like they no. They are in opposition to one another now. Um so that is just something that I have observed about New York in recent years. Cuz I was You get charged to breathe in New York City. You really do. You can leave your house, excuse me, and you will spend $50 just walking down the street. And it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. I'm not saying New York wasn't expensive when I moved here. It was, but not in the way that it is now. I remember my apartment in Fort Greene. It really was a studio, but they charged it as a one bedroom. I think it was $900. It was on the corner of Vanderbilt and Lafayette. Yeah. It was right across from Bishop Laughlin High School. Great, great location. Um, and it was like, yeah, $900. I could do $900. Like, I could do that. And I could do that off, like, the tips that I made in a week at my job. So it wasn't crazy to then be able to be like, "Okay, I'm gonna work on my art. I'm gonna take an article for free. Like, I'm gonna write an article, I'm not gonna get paid for it." Those types of things. Or take an internship. I can't, that is unpaid, but it's like, okay, but I still have my job at Pastis as a hostess, so I still have money. That's that's I think that has completely changed. I think that has ship has sailed. Everyone's like, I remember that era of New York City. I do think a city should preserve its foundation. I completely agree. I think that's why Mom Johnny is like really he has 10 toes down because he's touching grass. He's touching grass. He knows that at the core of New York is it's a port. It's a port city, and that means goods are made here and goods are exported. And there's so many people that cross the threshold of New York. And so to make it exclusive to one sect of people or one sector of industry defeats the point of New York. This is not a billionaire's playground. No, it's like you can come to New York and you could lit like Frank Sinatra said, "Baby, you come to New York and you can make it here, you can make it anywhere." I truly do believe that. I truly do believe that. It's the same reason why, let's bring it back. When I go to Paris and I hop on the train, I don't speak French, but I know exactly how to get around the city because I've mastered the MTA, you know? So it's like, yeah, I know how to get around. Like, I remember going to Lagos in 2017 and, getting in an Uber and figuring it out and just making it happen because it's like, "Oh, I know a friend who's over here, so Imma go over there." And I made friends and I figured it out. That was my first time to Nigeria. I didn't know anybody, but we're gonna figure it out. Cause in New York, that's what you do. You're scrappy. She said that Cece said, "To be fair, though, I could never seem to survive a suburb." So Kamari says, "Yes. I wonder what historic preservation orgs in New York would love to partner with you for your takes on the process of preservation, fashion, and culture." I don't know. I'm here. I'm here to give them. These are just my hot takes on NYC. Because I mean, I've lived here 21 years, you know? I don't know I'm no way a preservation historian, but I do remember another New York and living in this current New York post-COVID and, um, just how difficult it is, and it doesn't need to be, and what it all means, you know? What does it mean when I remember this, oh my god, this happened to me, like, a couple weeks ago. I was talking to this guy, smug asshole, and he's telling me white boy, he's telling me he just moved in with his girlfriend, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, like, that's great, whatever," and he was like, "Yeah, she's a 4.5 bedroom in Bed-Stuy, so, like, we really need a lot of furniture." And I was like, "I hate that you are gentrifying my neighborhood that I lived in." I moved to Bed-Stuy in 2007. Off and on had lived there since last year. I just hate the fact that, like, smug assholes like that are just moving into the city and taking over neighborhoods and just being, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being like, "Oh, yeah, 4.5 bedrooms. Uh, gotta figure out how to furnish it." You and your basic ass girlfriend. Get out of here. I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, "Exactly." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that 4.5 bedroom is probably the result of deed theft. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. So, but I'm determined to move back to Bed-Stuy. I am determined. I told Ed, I said, we live in Ridgewood, um, but I'm determined to move back. I That's my neighborhood. We went to dinner there last week. We went to Olmo. I don't know if you guys have been, but it's a very good restaurant. It's Mexican. They have a Michelin star. It's over on Saratoga. And, it was delicious, and I was loving those blocks. And I really think Saratoga is less Bedside, more Ocean Hill. Um, but whatever. I was just like, "I love these blocks. I love being here." It immediately feels like where I belong. Um, and I don't have that relationship to Ridgewood. I think that I'm very appreciative to Ridgewood because it was a place to land, um, after kind of a really bad living experience and, uh, also after my breakup. And then I met, my current boyfriend here, but, like, I don't know if it's me, Like, there's not a lot of Black people here, um, and that really does change a lot of things for you, I think. It's just it's not I don't know. It is. Environment's really important for creatives. It's really important. But he hears me and he's like, "Okay, yeah, like, we can move." So, I don't wanna move right away because I just moved in June, and I don't wanna do another move. I wanna I'm tired. So I'm okay with us staying here for a little while, but ultimately, it's not here. Nah, I'm good with that. Um, I think, like you're saying, CC, like an environment. I can only imagine, for instance, if you're moving to Paris, it's like that is a really inspiring place. Like you're moving around um, on these really beautiful streets and you're having fresh food. And if you're feeling like, oh, I need some inspiration, you can dip into a museum and, um, there's like a little world in all of the uh, arrondissements. Is that what they're called? Yeah, like I think that is really pivotal. And you can have that in New York too. I'm not saying you can't. I think sometimes what happens is you will get into a bubble and you'll be like, "Oh, I haven't seen this part of New York in a while." Where did I feel that way the other day? Where was I? I felt like it was uptown or something. And I was like, "Oh, New York is just this vast place that, like, hello." There's so much to be explored and examined. And I don't know, where were we? I think we were, like, driving by Kips Bay. I was like, "What is Kips Bay?" Like, what the fuck? What's going on over here? And then we were driving down, and we went to the East Village. Yes. We were in the East Village on Friday night, which was cute. It was popping. Ooh, the East Village was popping, y'all. I don't know if y'all go out there, but I was like, "Alright." These NYU kids or what's over there? It's like NYU, FIT, Parsons, New School, all that kinda stuff, yeah. Those kids were on their shit that night. Mm. Anyway, so those are some things that I've been thinking about lately. some updates. We're working on the 3rd season of the podcast. Yay. It's coming back. Um, we shot our first episode this last Thursday, and that was really exciting. I have to do some work on it after this. Um, but I just wanna let you guys know it's coming back. It'll probably be back in October. I'm thinking, um, that first week in October, we just boom, there you go. And it feels good. It felt good. And, like, with all things, production, you have to be nimble. Like, things change, things happen. You just have to, like, roll with the punches. Roll with the punches. So things come up and you can't be, like, so fixed on it and realize, "Okay, so how do we fix this? Like, what's the solution?" Um, and ooh, actually, this is a good time. I would love to know who you think I should be in conversation with, this season. We have, like, really great, amazing guests lined up, but, like, I'm also in talks with getting more people on, so, I would love to hear your thoughts on who we should have on. And yeah, and then we're also going to do a live podcast, taping again at WSA. This time last year, we did our first one, which I cannot believe. This year went by so quickly. I cannot believe that a year ago we did that. It was so much fun. It was such a rush. I don't know if anybody came out to it, um, if you're in this live right now and came out to it, but it was the first time really felt like, "Oh, like, I'm building something beyond just a show." Like, this is a group of people who are such exciting, creative, interesting, intelligent people who are locked in. That's what it felt like. And they're like, and you guys were willing to support me. Not even just willing to support me, but wanted to support me. It was really a beautiful night. I love Renelle. If she would come on, I would be girl. We would have a key because I want to talk to her about like her roots in photography, where she wants to go next, just the challenges of being a Black creative. Um, yeah, I feel like she's such a force. I would love to chat with her. Um, so fingers crossed on that one. Renelle will be cute. And we could talk about New York. We could talk about you know, the mass gentrification of New York City, you know? I wonder what her thoughts are on that as a native. Brooke could be cute. Yeah. I'm wondering, yeah, I think we've talked about doing each other's shows for a while. Saucy Santana. Oh my god, I'm so done. I think Saucy Santana would be hilarious. Quiet on the Creek, honey. Wait, but did you see his interview with, homie, what's his name? Cam Newton? It was so good. It That was 2 hours, and I definitely listened to all of it. It took me a couple days, but I sat down and I watched it, and it was so funny, and I really thought it was such a good show for both of their audiences. Like, that's why it was like, "Okay, this makes sense," because you're pulling in 2 audiences who probably are kind of in opposition to one another, and I think it was a moment of, I don't know, more intersection, right? Like, it's like, and it was a moment of intersectionality, Cam and his, like, homophobia really needed to be checked, and his audience needed to also be checked, and Saucy did it, like, so gracefully. They did see each other, absolutely, and I think it was also really interesting to hear about Saucy's background in the trap and how, I think that experience taught him how to be around straight dudes who are homophobic, but still be able to be himself and still show up fully as himself and be like, "And you're going to respect me." And that's that on that. And I mean, it was very brilliant. Um, and I also think it was a really great way of like just checking that heterosexism of like, "Oh, you're into me." And he's like, "You're so not my type. You're so cheap. Like, I would never try to get with you." And pushing back on, like, misogyny, um, especially around women and money, right? I think that, like, nowadays, men and money is such a crazy topic. Like, I was reading a thread this morning where this guy, like, um, made a girl pay for her drink on a date and then, like, Zelle requested her money, um, in the car afterwards for her lunch, and I was just like, "That's just not how it is." That's just it's like, it's literally not how it works. I think that and I've said this before, and I'll say it to the to, like, get blue in the face, it's just like, if men want to have all of the privileges of male privilege and masculinity, then you also have to take with it the responsibilities. If you wanna make more money than me, make a dollar on my 50 cents, then baby, then you need to pay up. Like, we're not doing anything else than that. If you're in a better financial place than me, if you have all this social strata, then you are the one who's in charge of the lunch. It's literally the least you can do, as I am actually systemically oppressed. Like, come on. These girls are enabling them to the pick-me's. The guy I'm dating invested in my business. There's no way I'd ever exactly. The girls have to stand up. It's it's the least they can do. Kamari Norman says, "Excuse me, do you like me? Do you wanna make my life easier or no?" Exactly. Exactly. I think I think Raisa also brings up a really great point. Both of you and Kamari and Raisa bring up 2 excellent points I wanna get to. So it's like, Raisa, you're saying you had your partner invest in your business. This is like a very, very smart move, and I think that, like, women, we we need to listen to this and practice this. If your man is in a better financial position than you and he wants to invest in your future, then have him invest in your businesses and your creative passions. Um, I think we saw this play out on Real Housewives of Atlanta this season where Kelly's man gave her $70,000 to get her teeth done rather than $70,000 to put towards her debt or her lawsuits or a new apartment or a new house. Like, it's like that is cognitive dissonance. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? So, Raisa, you're absolutely right. It's if my man is in a place to do this and like I need him to do X, Y, and Z for me. I also saw a girlfriend of mine posted this on Instagram where a woman was moving in with her partner and she was like, "Listen, if you want me to move in with you, this is like kind of these are the financials of what that looks like. I have to get my hair done, I have to get my nails done. Excuse me, I need Ubers, I need this type of money, you know, to be me. And if you want to be with me, then like this is and you want me to move in with you, this is kind of what it is." And I really do get that. I think that's something that we need to start having, and, like, it needs to be a really simplified conversation, you know? a simplified conversation. Raisa says he's 10 years older, gave me 10K to do what I needed to do. He's an engineer, makes hella money. Mind you, he just spent 6K for a room at the William Vale. Okay, period, bitch. JC tickets and money for shopping. I just do not understand what the girls are doing. It's what she said, just to brag and say she didn't get the pea smile. Pack it up, Kelly. Exactly. Exactly. Now, I'm going to give you some auntie advice too. Do not be financially um abused. Do not be financially abused. Because a lot of men will hold money over your head. And I'm just saying that from my own personal experience, where it's like I stayed too long because I felt like we kind of had set up a system that wasn't healthy for me. But if you have it covered and under control, that's great. I think that's where it needs to be. I think that's where it totally needs to be. Um, I just think that like sometimes men can start being like, "Oh, I paid for this, so you need to do X, Y, and Z." You know, like see, that's it, right? So did you? That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So you were a stay-at-home wife. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home wife. But if you don't have control over your finances and you're with somebody who is making a lot more money and they are enabling, you to live a certain lifestyle, there can come a point when they think, "Oh, well, if I'm giving you this money, then you need to do what I tell you to do. And I set the terms of this relationship." And then you start getting in this mentality of like, well, what am I gonna do? I felt definitely trapped at one point. Um, and I like that you're making your own money now. So it's like your partner only adds to what is going on. Um, yeah. CC says, I saw a girl on the internet say we are first generation of women who can choose men based on their character, and a ton of us are single. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I'm sorry. That just made me laugh so much because I wasn't expecting that last part, but but it's true. It's true. We are. I mean, our mothers had to get a male family member to sign off on their checking accounts in the 70s. I think that rules was, overruled in like 1973. The fuck? Hi, Brianna. Hi, Brianna. How are you? What are we talking about? We're talking about dating right now and finances. I don't know how we got into this, but we did. Here we are. We're just talking about it because it was great talking to you. Thanks for doing this live. Excited for the podcast. Thank you. Thank you, Cece. We'll be back so soon. We have some cute things going on. We'll be talking about these things on the show. And I think I was talking about it because I was telling you about a thread where I was reading a thread today where this man Venmo or Zelled, whatever, requested money from this girl that he took out on a date. And it's kind of like, this is the thing. It's like if you have male privilege, then and you have a higher social strata than me because you are a man and you're making $1 on my 50 cents, then the least you can do is pick up the fucking check. Like the least. Like, what's going on with us? And I remember someone said this on a TikTok live that I did like last week or a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Someone said that men today want to be the prize and the hunter. Like, you cannot do that. And then I saw something from someone's wedding. I don't know who the celebrities were, but this guy, like, did this really crazy walk down the aisle. He himself had a train that was attached to his suit, and then his wife to be also made, like, some grand entrance, and they were, like, rapping and, like and lip syncing to Beyoncé and Jay-Z, and I was like, "Y'all are so stupid." You think that man's ever gonna show you peace? I promise, Brianna, it was on Threads. This man ca and I think they're like a celebrity couple. I didn't know them, but they came down man came down the aisle, and he was slinking down the aisle, and he had a train on his suit. Exactly. You will never find any peace in that relationship. He will be in constant competition with you. Constant. Do you know who I'm talking about, Raisa? I saw it on Threads. I have no idea who the couple was, but I saw it and I was like, "Jesus Christ." And then it reminded me of, Noah Lyles, and he gives handsome word. Yeah, it was this light-skinned dude. Who was that? Who was this couple? Because it was so crazy. I was like, "Why are you doing this? What is going on? What is the reason?" It was crazy. I know, because there have actually been some really beautiful Black weddings this summer. I mean, we'll get into Jordan Woods in a second because I think we need to talk about it. But, that was, like, such an example of someone it's like, you cannot marry someone who hates you. And who's in secret competition with you. It was like when Noah Lyles got married to his wife, who's also a track star this summer. Do you remember this? And because his reaction to seeing her for the first time went viral, and he, like, critiqued the outfit that sh the outfit, the gown that she wore, and, it was it was scary. And he in the Vogue article was really about him and not his wife. And I was like, "Nobody cares about Noah Lyles getting married. We wanna talk about his wife." But that's what that is. It's like these men, they wanna be the prize and the hunter. I'm listening to Jordan Wood's fiancé on the daily podcast. I can't put my finger on it, but something was off. What do you mean? What you mean, Kamari? No, the Transfer wedding is sick and I went viral. Oh my god, that's how Sean is in Married at First Sight. Okay, let's talk about oh my gosh, my people. I found my people. I found my people. Okay, y'all, let's talk about Married at First Sight. Before we get into the Jordan Woods of it all, let's talk about Married at First Sight. Um, Kamari, please take notes because I need to know what you mean. I okay, so the Married at First Sight clips were going viral on TikTok, and so I was like, let me just watch this fucking show. And I made my boyfriend watch it with me, baby. We now every Thursday we're sat. We are sat. We're like, it's Thursday. Get in here. What are we ordering tonight? What are we cooking tonight? Okay. Bring it. And then we then we sit down and we eat dinner and we're watching and we are talking shit. So for anybody who hasn't seen this show, you have to. This is my first season watching it. Raisa, I this is my first time watching it. But the basis of the show is this. The show recruits people who want to get married. Sight unseen. They will talk this season at least. They talk to two marriage relationship experts and relationship therapists. They kind of explain what they're looking for in a partner, and then these experts go and find their matches. Then they put on a dress, they put on a tux, and then they go meet their soon to be spouse at the end of the aisle. That is what it is. It's like Love is Blind on a hundo. It's crazy. Okay. So that's the basis of the show. This season, it's wild, right? So I totally, totally hear you. I totally hear you. This season has crazy couples. Okay. Exactly. Exactly. So Mecca, okay, there's 2 Black couples. There's Mecca and Belle Jolie, and then there's Sean and Nikki. Sean and Nikki are the oldest couple on the show. They're like 46, 47 years old. And then Belle and Mecca are like in their late 20s, early 30s. And I guess when I wanna say this is like something that jumped out at me when I first started watching the show. I was like, it's not that people are getting married so young, it's just that the desperate lengths at which they will go to get married young. Because 'Cause I'm like, if you're 27, 28 years old, babe, you have options. You could go outside and meet somebody. You can you go around the corner and meet somebody. It's like it's crazy. So, I was just confused as to why these young people were going to such drastic lengths to get married, right? Okay, so that's like my underlying thought. Well, of course he dates white women, right? So there is this guy on the show called Mecca, black guy. And I really think that Mecca, he's got a lot going on right now. Okay. I think he was the victim of sexual abuse as a child because his father is very inappropriate with him. And they found all these old social media videos of his father making gross accusations at him, like gross innuendos, jokes, whatever on TikTok, talking about his dick, talking about his dick size, talking about let me shave your pubic hair, like all this really weird, creepy fucking shit. Mecca also told his bride, Belle Jolie, that he wet the bed until he was like 13 years old, right? I was like, if you're putting 2 and 2 together, you're understanding that this person has experienced an extreme amount of trauma at a very young age and was hypersexualized probably from a very young age, right? And now how that has manifested in him as an adult is really interesting because he has a mother wound because his mother left his father when he was quite young and kind of abandoned him. Well, I don't know why I'm putting it in quotes. She did. She abandoned him. She did. And then his stepmom always chose his stepbrother and sister over him. So he really has like this big mother wound. And I think also living in a house like that was a bit unstable, he most likely was susceptible to abuse from someone, his father, who probably was the only quote unquote stable adult in his life. Like, this is, like I know this is really deep, but this is, like, what I'm, like, gauging from everything. Now, he grows up, he marries this girl, Belle Jolie, right? Beautiful black woman, beautiful black woman. I can tell off the bat that Mecca wasn't really into her. I think as black women today, we can kinda tell when black men date white people, white women, or white men. I know I can tell. How do I get to I'm like, "Oh, okay." I could tell right away that that she wasn't his normal type. He was treating her with arms distance, and obviously this is a show where you're always talking about your feelings. You're always talking about what happened to you, how you're feeling in this moment, how you're feeling towards this person. It's a lot of talking. And in that talking, he just would always say the stupidest shit to her. Just say the stupidest shit, being like, I don't know, like, are we just gonna be friends? It really kind of started there where he was like, I really get friendship vibes from you. And I was like, okay, friendship vibes. Then it started to expand into other stupid things about sex and whether they were gonna have sex. And he told her on their honeymoon that she was already in love with him and that he could tell that she was holding back. And yeah, it was already giving manipulation. Wait, what did Brianna say with black women? I don't know, but also I don't care. Anaya and Casey Love Island. Yes, I knew they both date black people. But then they don't. I didn't watch Love Island this season, so I don't know this lore. But it started out, I guess what I'm trying to make an argument is like a lot of his negging towards her started out in a way to humiliate her. That was kind of him really kind of soft launching the rejection. Raisa, exactly. When he said, "You're in love with me 150% and me 80%." He's just so he said so many terrible things to her. Like, terrible things to her. And I think also, Raisa, you said it earlier where it was like, you're kinda over Belle too, because it is a little bit like, "Baby girl, like, stand up, please." Okay? It is on Peacock. It is on Peacock. She needs to stand up because then it started to be like she was really protecting his ego. You could tell that she's, like, withholding her emotions, and my whole big thing is this, when it comes to dating and something that I've really learned is that you can never say the wrong thing to the right person, okay? I want that to really for y'all to really understand that, and my married girlfriends are always telling me this: "If you're gonna have a child with someone, you should be able to talk to them about anything." You should be able to talk to them about anything. So if you ever feel like you are holding back or stifling yourself, that's that's a dead giveaway. That's a dead giveaway that that may not be your person. Or that you need to allow yourself not allow yourself, but give them the opportunity to meet you where you need to be met by bringing something to them and seeing if they could talk to you about it. I think that is really what it is. It's just like, don't hold back. Love, relationships, it's all about vulnerability. It's all about being seen, and that can be really fucking scary and exhausting, and you're just like, "Oh my god, please stop." But those are, like, core tenets, and when you see Belle Jolie holding back and just becoming smaller over the course of these weeks for a man who is so overly performative, it's so it's so damaging. But it also came racist, but I also think it comes with age. She has to mature and love herself more. She has abandonment issues and grew up super poor. Yes, she does. Kamari, no, yes. Racist. She has to learn to love herself. The love she's trying to give to Mecca is the love she needs to give herself. I've been there. It's sad to watch. I think you're absolutely right. Um, I also really hated the way that he talked about her uh like, childhood when she was like, "Yeah, we were, like, really, really, really poor." And he was like, "You were really, really poor?" I was like, "Why are you making us some more while she's telling you about how she grew up in, like, abject poverty?" Like, what the fuck? Like, that was so weird to me. I was like, Just put the chocolate down and listen to her while she's telling you this story about how she's was on the brink. It was so bizarre, guys. It was so fucking bizarre. So we get to this one scene and they're at dinner. They are at like a group dinner. It's where all the couples get together and they like basically just talk shit about each other. And they're at this dinner and he's talking to Nikki about her attraction to Sean because Nikki's obviously unattracted to Sean and she's trying, but it's just like it's not really there. And he goes, "I can totally relate." Like when I first met Belle, I was like, "She's pretty, but is she pretty enough for me?" Like he said these things to her. We're gonna get into Nikki and Sean in just a minute. We're gonna get into Nikki and Sean in a minute. But yes, Nikki fucking hates Sean, and why shouldn't she? Then he said, "No." Like, that's when you know a nigga is fucking with you. And I have to say, unfortunately, I've been negged like that. When men try to humble you, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that. And I don't wanna just put this on black men, but I do find that black men had a thing for humbling me for a while. Like, cause babe, I'm loud and I'm opinionated and I'm a feminist and I'm gonna call it like it is. So they were always like, "You need to over there." And I think that like when men are feeling insecure about themselves and they're like, "Wow, this girl is like she's really amazing. She's emotionally regulated. She's got it going on. She's gorgeous. She's stunning." I think that men feel like I have to break her down a notch. Mhm. Okay. I am too, Kamari. People are sick. I think this can happen with all men. I'm just saying in my experience, it's been that way for me, unfortunately. And so when I saw Mecca doing this to Belle, I was really triggered because I was like, fucking hell. Like, what is it about seeing black women who are smart and emotionally regulated and outspoken and joyful? I think that's also something. Belle is like a really joyful girl. She's always smiling. She's these big dimples. She's happy. She's bubbly. And I think there's also something about needing to diminish like a bubbly black girl and make her really doubt herself. And so the way that he does this as in the last episode, because they went on a couples retreat. So they all went away to this like house in like upstate Washington. It was a really beautiful house, by the way. I was like, oh, this is nice. Um, he does this in two ways. Well, actually multiple ways. On that trip, he acted the fuck up. So he was talking with the boys. And I want to say this about the boys on the show, because that's what they are. They're boys. None of them are men. Those boys are so obsessed with their homosocial bonds with one another and impressing one another that they're not really that focused on their relationships with these women. They're there to hang out with the boys, to have beers, and yuck it up, and to impress them each other. So the boys are all together and they're having this conversation about their wives. And Adam, this one white boy who's fucking crazy, goes to Mecca. He's like, "Is Belle your dream girl?" And he was like, "No, she's not." And he's like, "Okay, well, why?" And he was like, "Well, I just like girls that are like physically thicker." And Adam's like, "Well, can't she just like get thicker? Like, I don't understand." By the way, Belle Jolie has like a perfect body and probably should be a model. And he's like, "Yeah, but like her boobs." And he points to his chest. And then Adam's like, "Oh, well, do you think that she would get like a boob job?" And he's like, I think she would be opposed to that." And that is when Adam said exactly what he said. He's like, "Are you into white girls?" And Mecca goes, "I have no racial preference." Now, I just saw a TikTok about this, and it was from this gay black man, and he really put it best. He said, "When gay black men say, 'I have no racial preference,' that's them saying, 'I like white men.' That's their way of communicating, 'I like white men,' or non-black men." Because having a preference for white people, white man, white woman, we realize that is you're gonna get some shade for that. Girl, we saw that with, what's that boy's name? Jay Tibbetts? Honey child, that's a whole other live. But yeah, you already know what that means. So he says, "Oh, I don't have a racial preference." I think having a preference is a very political choice. It is because who we are attracted to is about desirability. It is about race. I wish we could drop pics in here. I know, right? Some, like, little gifs of memes. Y'all gotta see his ex. Oh my god. The white girl's crazy looking. I mean, she just kinda looks like a the Hailey Bieber if Hailey Bieber were in the WNBA. She made a video. She was like, "He dated me." So this is why we so this video that she dropped comes, like, an episode before, um, this episode, and it kinda sets us up to realize that he actually, out of all of this, has this thing for another white girl on the cast. Her name is Caitlyn. Caitlyn looks like every girl in America. I mean to say that she just looks like every girl. Like, there's nothing exceptional about her. She's not like an exceptional beauty, right? So, like, I was like, "Who is this girl? Like, where are you from? You look like any girl down the street that lives next door." It there's nothing exceptional about her. Adam Sandler is crazy. So then he starts flirting with this white girl, Caitlyn, for, like, the rest of the night in front of Belle Jolie after Belle Jolie has told the girls the nasty things that Mecca said to her about her looks. And then she gets another piece of information after Mecca has this conversation with Adam about her looks. This other guy took that tea back to his wife. The wife took that tea to Belle and said, "Look, your man is saying all these crazy things about you, okay?" You you guys are cracking me up. Raisa and Kamar. You're like, when Belle said it, it's crazy. Caitlyn was laughing. And I have to say, this is kind of like there's so many people to get into. Felipe. Felipe's drunk all the time. There's, like, so much. But basically, Mecca made fun of this, he flirted with this girl in front of Belle Jolie, and Caitlyn's man clocks all this and ain't having it and calls her out. But Belle Jolie says nothing. And I think that's the thing about it. It's kinda like, baby, like, if you see your man flirting with some girl, putting his chain on her, giving her a kiss on the hand, like, right after he said to you, "I don't find you pretty. I don't find you attractive. You're not my dream girl. You'd have to get a boob job and you'd have to become a lot thicker for me to be attracted to you." And I just stare at your face trying to find the beauty in it, okay? Devin really did get out of there, and I'm really glad that he did because Caitlyn was playing the shit out of him. Their wedding was weird too. Can we talk about that for a second? Caitlyn and Devin had a very weird wedding. Their energy at that wedding was kinda like, "Let's do this." Like, they were really like I remember out of everybody who had a wedding, their energy was like, "Let's go. Let's do this." And I was like, "Okay." And it seemed like Caitlyn was into it, and then on that honeymoon, babe, she was not into it. Not at all. And then to find out that she's into Harry Potter and Taylor Swift, I was like, "Oh, great. She has the taste palette of a 12-year-old." I was like, it explains everything about her. And then we met her. I always thought she was gay too, if you want me to be a hundo. And I think Mecca's too. I think a lot of those people on that show are gay. I really do. I think Sean's a little gay. I think Mecca is. I think Caitlyn is. I thought the other MAGA bitch was. I forgot what her name was. And I am calling her a bitch because she was awful. She was MAGA. She was a Jan 6 denier, and she was awful. She cussed out her man constantly. It was crazy. And they were the first couple to break up. First couple to break up. Let's talk about Nikki and Sean for a minute, though. Nikki and Sean, I think, are the most triggering couple. They are they're really they're peers, they're colleagues, really, at the end of the day. These are 2 overly successful, overly ambitious Black people, Black 401k girlies down corporate America, right? And off the bat, you can tell Sean has major insecurities, ego about where he is in life, how short he is, how unattractive he is. He's a little freak. He's definitely a little freak. And he wants his wife to be down for whatever he's down for, and puts like a really big pressure on Nikki for sex. And it makes her extremely uncomfortable from the get. He's also extremely controlling. Extremely. Eh, Karl Lagerfeld did say short men are mean and will want to kill you. True. Woo! Sean is a mess. He's a preacher's kid who's now in academia, and he's wild. Okay? I have met men like him in academia, and you're like, "Oh my god, babe, what's going on? What's going on?" He's just turned out. He's a little freak. It's so intense. That should be a scripture. It's true. It's so true. And the way he talks to Nikki, because she's Nikki is like such a gorgeous, successful. I love the way she dresses. She's just a bad bitch, right? And she's done well for herself. She works at Amazon. She's in HR, but you could tell she's in HR. And you could tell that she really wanted to walk away from all this. I think there was a point in their relationship where they were yelling and arguing so much that production, I think, had to step in and be like, "Guys, you're gonna be embarrassing yourselves on national television. So you either have to break up or you have to decide, let's just, play fair and just ride this out and say no at the end." Okay? You know? She does. She does make about 300K. Good for her. Seriously, good for her. It's just it's wild. It's And you can tell he's so insecure about it. He went to her house is, like, this beautiful townhome, and he was living in some weird bachelor pad, but it wasn't even like a bachelor pad, it was just like, "Where are we?" It looked like a college dorm. I just I mean, just like I made that point about the financial abuse, like, emotional and verbal abuse is just it's too much. And for what? Just to say you're married. Where were we? Like, it was, like, weird. It was terrible. I was like, if you're I don't think he's not making money, but I don't think he's obviously making as much money as she is. And it's like, but still, you can get a better comforter. You can get a better duvet than this. He's in absolute competition with her real bad from the get. His place looked absolutely insane. And he had one of those gaming chairs, and she's like, "Why do you have a gaming chair?" He just seems like the type that's, like, always on OnlyFans, you know? Just creep. Probably sends, like, women half of his paycheck, that kinda thing. He just seems like the type. And, like, they have a really caustic, hostile, tumultuous relationship. But one thing they're very good at doing is kikiing together and kikiing about the other couples. Oh my gosh. Raisa, no, it's not for comfort. It's because he's watching porn excessively. He is just so freaky. He is. He really is. He is that is a gay man. I also need my girls to stand up. Where is your gaydar? Where is your gaydar? So wild. He actually said to her, "You may be a Seattle 10, but you're a New York 7." Wanting to be the prize and the hunter. It's just it's too much. This show is so wild. Guys, I've only talked about 2 couples. I've only talked about 2 couples. Like, the rest of them are all fucking insane. I think the overall theme is just, like, men want their men today are wanting women to be a certain thing, like, to be an idea and not fully formed as humans. Raisa, I have to say though, even Michelle and Cam, let's talk about it because Cam is someone he has his doubts too. And like we're not really talking about that. And I think we should because he has the same doubts that Felipe and Mecca have. About whether the passion is going to die out. And I'm like, you guys can't be this they have a real chip on their shoulder about their relationship and how well they're doing. And my thing is this, Cam, you've never been in a long-term relationship past 6 months. So you don't know what it's gonna be like in that 7th month with Michelle. So I think you need to humble yourself a little bit. I would definitely say that, okay? I would definitely tell him to be like, it takes work. A relationship is work. And I do think, like Sean said about Michelle, I do think that she's settling a little bit because Michelle also makes a lot of money and Cam doesn't. And she said she wanted that in a partner. And now it doesn't matter as much. It was Rapids really let it. Raisa, I will give him points for letting himself like let the walls come down and to being in a relationship. But if you think about it in terms of time, it's been 3 weeks, right? It's been 3 weeks. I want to see him when something big happens and how he handles that moment. That's what I want. But I would say in because I think he's gamifying this show because he's a basketball player, and I think he's like, "We're in the top bracket. We're winning March Madness right now. We're Duke. Like, we're up." And that's how I kind of see him thinking about this and how and they that's why they have this huge chip on their shoulder and they're able to, like, judge the other couples, but I'm like, "Baby, you need to stop. You've never been in a long-term relationship longer than 6 months. I want to see where you are in 7 months' time, okay?" Michelle is a Cancer, she's not gonna give up. No, she is very mother. She's very mother. I'm ready for the reunion too, girl. I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say at the reunion. It's such a fascinating, wild ride. It is yeah. Who else is annoying? I mean, Adam and Marissa. Marissa also, it's, like, also settling. Marissa, let's just be honest, she's a beautiful girl, she's funny. I think she's might be mad cool to hang out with, but she not trying to live in any shack by the ocean. She not trying to jet ski, she not trying to pickleball. She not trying to do all that. Did you see her apartment? That girl is a pleasure princess. She likes nice things. She wants to be in a nice house. I don't ever wanna hear anything about pickleball. There's this guy on the show, and he wants to play pickleball 3 or 4 times a w is it 3 or 4 times a week, or is it 3 it's for 3 hours. He wants to play pickleball with his partner, and he's like, "That's real intimacy." And I'm like, "No." And then it's come to, to the light that he has addiction issues, and a lot of people think that he's supplementing alcohol and drugs for pickleball and staying active and staying, you know, with his mind off of drugs, alcohol, all that. Yes. And he's like, "I'm just gonna become even more intense." And he's like, I'm gonna ramp up this schedule even more." And she's like, "Ooh," she's scared. I'd be scared too. No. That's crazy. To have her doing push-ups on their jacuzzi boat date was absolutely insane, right? And you know what I loved? Okay, when they were at the dinner and Sean clocked him for his language, because this guy only speaks he has got like 5 to 8 words that he uses, which is like cooked, vibes, um, all out or something like that. Um, what else does he say? He just has like these really he only has a very small window of words and he's always making jokes. Full out, that's what it was. And Sean clocks him and is like, "Do your parents speak like this?" Because Sean knows who Adam is, and I think we know who Adam is. Adam is a rich white boy who grew up with privilege, um, and his parents pushed him academically and probably in extracurriculars, and he wanted to be cool. And so he's created and crafted, like, this identity or persona that makes it seem as if, like, he's very cool, but he's very much not, okay? He speaks like a surfer, but it's like, you don't surf, you jet ski in Seattle. Ooh, the cringe, the cringe. He's very pompous, he's very full of himself, and I knew that he probably, like, went to a very good school and is just putting on for his city, and so when Sean calls him out, he was just like, "I just think that when people use certain words over and over again, rather than talking about their real emotions, that they're, like, covering it up. They're covering up their who they really are." And that got him so mad. It got him mad. And all of a sudden, though, Adam has not been talking like that. He's been talking in full sentences. It's terrible. You have to watch this. This show is so good. This show is so good. It's fascinating. It's like it's such an incredible social experiment. And I also want to say this. It is fascinating that there's a show like this on the on television when we have when our government has the gall to talk about like the sanctity of marriage and this and like trying to undermine gay marriage. Like we make a travesty and a joke out of marriage. We really, really do. And then we make these arbitrary homophobic rules about who can get married and who can't. So it's like we have a show about straight people who get married and they spend 5 weeks with a complete stranger and they have to decide if they're gonna get married like stay married at the end of it all. It's insane. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make any sense that we we create all these, like, limitations and statutes to who can get married, and then we treat marriage like it's a fucking joke all the time. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, I have told you horror stories today, but the government is trying to overturn gay marriage. That's crazy. It's crazy. Is he a therapist or is he just a matchmaker? I don't know if he's a therapist. I think he's a matchmaker. But yes, you should tune in. Tune in. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Okay, let's also talk. I think this is a good segue. Speaking of crazy marriages, um, let's talk about Jordan Woods. Let's talk about Jordan Woods and all of that, the Hannah Bronfman and like all of what's happening on TikTok. I woke up this morning and my girly Brianna sent me some TikToks about the Jordan Woods wedding conversation and where it is right now in the discourse. Yes, time is moving. You got to go somewhere, Brianna. Sorry, girl. Um I want to start off by saying that Jordan looks beautiful, stunning. And I had done an episode on the Dua Lipa wedding, and I had talked about how it was really important for us in this era of hetero pessimism. I mean, I really like we literally just were talking about this half an hour ago. How important it is to see healthy representations of couples, straight couples. If you're a cishet woman and you're dating men, I do think it's important for you to see this. Okay. And she looked fantastic. She looked happy. She looked healthy. She looked rich. Let's start there. Let me start there. She is a Black American motherfucking princess. Okay? And even if Kylie Jenner was there with her hating ass, she she was still a queen. Okay? Kylie Jenner, the Kardashian train, tried to stop her bag years ago and couldn't do it because Jada and Will weren't going to have it. And look at her now. Look at her now. She really won. And I think that's why she invited Kylie, because I think it was important to her to say, "I won. Your man didn't win his Oscar. My man did." Okay? I got my Vogue winning. I'm the girl that the bitches wanna be. I'm the next Sophia Richie, okay? I'm her. You came to my man's game because your man is obsessed but could never. Okay? Alright? The New York City girls wanna be Jordan, they want to dress like her, they want to buy her bags, they wanna buy her shoes. She's up next. Just like Sophia Richie's, wedding did for Sophia Richie, this wedding will do that for Jordan Woods, trust me, trust and believe. Absolutely. Because they said, "God will prepare your table in front of your enemies." Ooh, I love that. I love that. The girl Oh, Brianna said it. The girls don't wanna be Hannah anymore. The girls said it. Brianna said it, okay? So we've got this Black American princess who killing the game, all Black bridesmaids. Nicolandria even fucking came, and Ben Stiller came. Is this thing on? Let's talk about it. Things have changed, and I love it, and I love to see it. Now, Brianna sends me this TikTok this morning about the wedding, about the discourse of her wedding online, Jordan's wedding, and how Hannah Bronfman came up here and said, "I really miss the days when you could just have a wedding, and it didn't have to be like this sponsored event, and it didn't have to be this global affair." And she starts posting photos from her Vogue wedding, which was in 2019. And the girls went off on her and were dragging her. And they were like, why can't she have her moment? I mean, every other white girl gets to have these moments. Why can't Jordan have this moment? It's not even her wedding anniversary. Exactly, Brianna. It's not even her wedding anniversary. What's wrong? Why would you say that? Why are you mad about it? It's giving I wanna be the only Black girl. It's giving I wanna be the only Black girl at the party, blah, 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 blah. Listen, her wedding looks very beautiful. It looks very beautiful. But let's just look at her track record. She's always on the wrong side of history, always. Let's not forget the All Lives Matter manicure. I mean, that should have been enough. I think that should have been enough for everybody, but somehow she persists. And then, obviously, can I say this on here? I don't even know. I don't know what slip tax rules are, but, she's a Zio, which is it's so weird. It's so weird for that. Raisa, stop. Stop it, Raisa. Stop. when your daddy white, I think you're white. Wait, no. Wait, that's actually the opposite. Raisa, that's literally the opposite. We all are always what are you talking about? We're always talking about the white mom versus the black mom. That's like a oh my god, I know. I'm like, Raisa is fucking hilarious right now. You are wait, so Hannah has a black mom and a white dad. You have to keep that in mind. You have to keep that in mind. She is. She's Black American. Nah, when you think about it, the seed is the seed. Like if you take an apple seed and put it in any fertilizer, it's still an apple. What are you saying? We always talk about the white mom versus the black mom. That is like what we've been talking about. That's the discourse. I don't know if I even believe that so much. I think it's just like it's really about when you're mixed, I think it's really about the black family that you have and how they help raise you. No matter who's the mom or the dad. Like who's helping you with your hair? You know? That's how I kind of look at it. Like who's helping with your hair? Who's helping you with your musical tastes? Who's helping you learn how to navigate all white spaces? Who's showing you certain nuances and traditions of black culture? That's the most important part to me. And let me just say it. With my niece and my nephew, I'm the one who's helping them with their hair, okay? I maybe I should have Izzy on the show because I need her to give me some credit because I gave that girl a bonnet and her hair grew down to her butt because her hair was breaking off. And I said, "Why is your hair look like that?" And she's been wearing this bonnet, I would say, I don't know when I bought it for her. It was years ago. But now her hair is down her butt. And that's because her black auntie. So I need her to come on the show and give me some respect. Who took her to get her first nail set? I did. I did. I took her to Naomi Nails, the girl that does Cat's Eye, the girl that does Madonna, Sabrina Carpenter. That's the girl that gave you your first acrylics. Because you're, because I know, you know, my black aunties were so important to my upbringing. They gave me like a real sense of pride and they took care of me. They still do. They still do. I love my aunties so much. They are they're like the sun. You just like I would just like sit with them and I would just I would get so warm. She's never gonna forget that. I really hope so. They're so important. Aunties are so important. Anyway, now we're off track. I don't know if does Hannah have a black auntie? Because if she did, I think she would have told her, babe, maybe you shouldn't go on the internet today and shit on another black woman's beautiful Vogue wedding. you know? Okay. That is that's real. And listen, I think in this case, Hannah was also she was in Vogue. She was in Vogue too. Everybody gets a Vogue spread. Okay? I know how these girls talk, by the way. That was a group chat conversation that should have never left the group chat. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Hannah was getting upset with her, like, she was talking and going back with her girlfriends, and her girlfriends were probably talking her up and making her head big, and then she took it to the internet. You should have never taken it to the internet, ever, you know? And I think this, like, goes into a larger conversation of, like, Black creators and opportunities and things like that. I think it's important that Black women are given these types of opportunities to shine, okay? Like, no, Brianna, I can tell you there were other Black girls in that group chat because I know exactly who that group chat includes. Her man probably spent some of her money that day misplaced. I guess so. I guess so. But I really think that because also we should have the opportunity, and this is something that's important. We should have the opportunity to say who we wanna see represent us. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we wanna see Jordan represent us out in the world and get her jobs and get her deals. We wanna see Alandria out getting her deals and getting her things. And we wanna decide who that is. I think that has a lot to do with it. So we collectively were like, "Oh, wow, this is fabulous." I think that's really important. That is a very significant thing, right? Because a lot of times media will tell me who I'm supposed to be like and look like, and I'm like, "That girl doesn't represent me." Like, God bless her, but that's not my North Star, you know? My North Star looks like this. Like, that's who I'm trying to be. So I think that's another really pivotal moment for us all to be like, "No, no, we want Jordan. We want more of Jordan. Thank you." Kendall Jenner doesn't represent me at all. It helps us all dream too. Exactly. Exactly. Because babe, we can all be down bad. We can all have our moments. Exact Apple Martin doesn't represent New York City girls. They need to stop forcing these girls on us. Alex Earl is I don't why are you Hailey Bieber's cute, but, like, that's not my North Star. My North Star is, like, Tracee Ellis Ross, like, that's who I'm trying to that's what I'm trying to be right now. I'm not trying to hear anything about other people that just don't look like me. Now, Brianna, I think for me also, I love Kiki Palmer. Like, that is my girl. Brianna was like, "Oh, what about Kiki?" I love Kiki. I really love her. You know, like, it's just I wanna make those decisions for myself. I need to see the Boosters movie. I feel like Kiki Palmer is like a really who else do I love? I think okay, so Brianna brings this point up, and I think it's a really good point. She said that Kiki may be our Alice Cooper. Um, I love I love that idea, and I'm gonna tell you why. And this is, like, to my point, is, like, Alex Cooper is dominating in a space that is white male dominated and is full of money, right? So and she's, like, the lone female voice in that all boys club, which is wild. Even though that women make up the majority of podcast listeners, it's male podcasters that are making the money and getting the deals. So I think it's really important that Kiki is showing up. Um, Alice Cooper is of Call Her Daddy. Exactly, exactly right. You said that's not your girl. That's not your girl. Her and her husband are insane. They are mean girling the way Call Her Daddy. Yeah, it's intense. And when I look at her show, I just like look at where she's going. Retro's doing great too, but I mean, Alice Cooper is I think she was in that Forbes top 10 list. Yeah, you know it, Call Her Daddy. Right. You've seen the clips. Um and I think it's important for Kiki to be pulling those types of numbers, those types of guests onto her show. It's important. And I think it's great that like we have her as our Black Alex Cooper, right? And she's owning that space. It's grown so quickly. I just read Hannah's Substack, lots of iteration in the dancery, very sad. Um, I just think that she's a real like, I mean, if you look back at the, um, guests that she's had on her show in the last few months, it's incredible. This is a generational run. Like, I don't know who she's gonna like, who else are you going to be interviewing? Because she's interviewing everybody. She's interviewing the girls. Think about it. She had Tracy Ellis Ross, Oprah, Nia Long, Michelle Obama, Whoopi Goldberg. The Emma Grede one went fucking viral on viral on viral, right? It was crazy. It was crazy. And I just think it's important for us to have representation in that space. I also think, and I was telling Brianna this because she got some flack for having Drew Afalo. I love that everyone's following each other right here and right now. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. This is really fab. Let's all do this. Now, I want this energy in person when I do my live podcast taping. Y'all gotta come. Y'all gotta come. We gotta do this in person. Drew, I don't like it, but this means Kiki is online. She is online. Alice will and every black woman say are in that 1%. Exactly. Or they're like Kamala. Exactly. They're like, unless they're Kamala Harris. Um, sorry, I'm just getting text messages. um, what was I saying? Oh, I was saying, right. So she was interviewing. You better fly in for my live taping. I will. I promise I will. It's gonna be a key. It'll be really fun. But what was it? Oh, I was saying that Kiki had Drew Afalo on the show a couple weeks ago, and people were really mad about it. But I think it's important for Kiki to have controversial people on her show. I was telling Brianna this. It's like you, we as journalists, you're going to interview people you don't like. It's going to happen to you all the time, and you just have to be prepared for it. And you have to like figure out how you're going to like approach them, and it could get you in sticky water, but like you got to do this. You have to do this. Raisa, don't even worry about it. It's a TikToker who went viral last week or a couple weeks ago. Um, and she had a trans actor on the show who said that trans women. What did she say, Brianna? She said trans women are more of a woman than cis women because they find the joy in being a woman, and cis het women have to deal with being, like, hypersexualized from a really young age, so they don't have the same joy about it. It was some convoluted argument. It was definitely a year old. Yes. It was a definitely an old clip. Um, but I think that's kind of Drew X or ER Fight Master. Yes, exactly. Fight Master, and they're on Grey's Anatomy, right, Bree? I don't know. But Drew was the host of this. Well, that's the thing. I don't as much as Drew creates space for trans people and for, trans and queer people, I don't know if Drew is the person to be having that conversation. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you didn't moderate that well because you're not supposed to be having that conversation because I don't think you're really an expert in that. Drew became very, very popular, I would say from Miss Sandry. I would say that um her brand was taking on red pill trolls who were after her and other feminists online. And she's a Polynesian woman and, like, she's a comedian, and she had a book, and she's had quite a career on TikTok. I remember, like, she really got big off of TikTok. Um, and I think some of her stuff is on point. I really do. But again, it's like, maybe you're not the person to have that conversation despite being an ally, you know? Yes. Straight women and trans women were fighting online. The girls were fighting. Oh, is Drew non-binary? I didn't know that. I did not know that. Is Drew non-binary or is ER Fightmaster non-binary? But I saw that. So anyway, I say this all to say that Kiki had her on uh her podcast and she's getting a lot of flack for it. And I told Brianna that I think it's important that Kiki have controversial people on her show, like the Emma Grede of it all, for instance, because black girls are allowed to be messy too. I think there's like this weird thing where we need to be perfect all the fucking time. And it's a trap. It's a fucking trap. Okay. And we're people. We're fully dimensional people. And I think we cannot be perfect all the fucking time. So I do think it's important for her to have controversial guests on there. And it's like, and of course that balances an episode with Tracy Ellis Ross. It's like light as a souffle, you know? Right. Like I think Leandra, exactly. Like Retro's very good at having messy conversations. Um, we can be messy. And I think messy, not even in the terms of like, like a Real Housewives kind of messy. Um, I would say like in the sense of being provocative. That's what I mean. I think we're allowed to be provocative. Mm, we have layers. We can be whatever we want. We could be princesses like Jordan. We can be starting little fires some places, you know? We could be comedians. We can be actresses. We could be educators. We can be scientists. We can be in the cut. We can be outside. It's all very important. We can be the Alex Coopers. We can have a dominant voice in the podcasting space and make a lot of money off it. We can be bitches too. We can be bitches too, guys. What the fuck? Oh my god. I actually have this theory that I'm working on right now. Um, and I don't know if you it kinda reminds me of this, and I'm, like, negotiating it a lot. But I'm terming it that girl fatigue. I'm having that girl fatigue. Um, where I'm just tired sometimes, you know? I'm just burnt the fuck out. And it's really I think it's a very particular experience that Black women have, especially if you're overly ambitious and you're successful and you're not where you wanna be and, all these types of things. 'Cause I really was trying to figure out, like, why I was feeling a certain way for I say for the last 2 years. Um, and, recently I was, like, talking to a friend of mine, and they were like I was kind of feeling low, so I called my girlfriend or my guy friend, Marquise, and he lives in LA, and he's just so optimistic, I love an LA girl. They're all about their hikes and, like, meditation and, Erewhon smoothies, and, um he was just like, "Marshawn, you're that girl, like, don't ever forget it, like, don't," and I know he was trying to boost me, but I was like when I hear that sometimes I get really tired. I get really tired because I'm like, if I'm that girl, then I need to act like it all the time, and sometimes I don't have it. Like, sometimes I am exhausted, and I'm like, like, sometimes I don't have it to give. Oh my god. Brianna says, "Rest. We all have to rest." Yes, it's heartbreaking. We wanna move and move and move. Um, and move. I have to learn how to slow down. I feel like Black women, all this. I've I think that's part of being that girl, very raw and authentic. But see, that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of pressure, I think, like when you're doing all these things and you do have to rest. But we're in like this attention economy where it's like if you are not doing something every fucking 5 seconds, then you feel like you've done nothing in your life. It's wild. I don't know why I feel this way sometimes. My EP at the podcast was like, Marjan, you're way you don't even know like what you're on. And I'm like, I don't because honestly, I don't even think of myself in those terms. I just feel like sometimes if I'm not doing something all the time, then I'm getting left behind, and I hate that feeling. So I think that's what I'm going through right now with that girl fatigue. I think we're shifting away from I mean, I hope we're shifting away from influencer culture. I literally am stepping out of living in this feeling. Oh, you are? How did you get there? I really wanna know how you got out of it because I think I've been burnt out for the last 2 years, and I didn't really know that. I didn't even see it, but I saw it instead of me, being a burnout, I saw it as me falling off, because I was like, "Oh, because you're not doing, like, 3 reels a day. You're not pumping out the content. You haven't done a cover story. You haven't done your podcast. You haven't," and it's just like, god damn, like, it can really where's the book? Where's the vlog? It can start to feel like you're in New York. What are you working on? Because if you're in New York and you're not working on something, well, it's so damn expensive. Yes, you have to tap into those Gen Z girls. They don't do anything. I mean, they hate working in capitalism. It's a strange energy. Exactly, Kamari. It's that. It's that. Oh, it's really that. You're like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna do?" I was doing I think during COVID, I was working constantly. I think that was, like, the most I was working. What does that mean, Raisa? I just feel like I was working so much that I never really had a day off. I think we all were feeling that way. Now I'm focusing all my energy on my business and just trying to maintain my flow of consistency. If that's 1 post a day, okay. 1 stop like a week, okay, but strategizing the posts to make it make sense. I gotta do it my own way. I just think I gotta keep working on that. It's a flow. I mean, it's very real, Martin. There's pressure. I have to ask myself, where is that coming from? I don't want to place added pressure on myself. I know. It's like this added pressure that and then we know, like we've been talking this whole time. It's just like as black women in these spaces, you are defying so many odds that if you take your foot off these people's necks, they are not playing around. Like oh my god, it's so crazy. Yeah, I know, child. I keep trying to tell myself that. It's just hard. Very, very hard. She's worked. Sierra Miller has worked. Working. See, right? And Sierra, I think after Dancing with the Stars is going to take a break. And I hope she does because it's I can only imagine going through a personal upheaval like that where you lose your you lose 2 of your really close friends. You're betrayed by an ex. It's all done publicly. You're going through a huge emotional, personal trauma, and you're doing it publicly. And then all of a sudden, though, you get these enormous opportunities. Um, and you of course, you're gonna take advantage of them. You're gonna get back on that horse, and you are going to get into those deals, and you're gonna get into those brand partnerships and trips and like interviews and all these types of things. But have you healed? Like, have you taken time to heal? You know? Do you really think she's gonna get off Bravo? I think she's not. I mean, I think eventually she will, but I think right now, I also think that Sierra likes. I think she really liked that sense of community. I think she really loved that sense of community that she was having with the summer house people. You know? They really trauma bonded. They were in the house together during COVID. That's a real trauma bond, okay? Lord. My god. Okay, I may have to go in a second just because 'cause I've been doing this for 2 hours, but this has been really fun. I love you guys. Is there anything else that we should discuss? Are there any other topics that we have left? I, like, wrote down, like, a few. Oh! Next Gen NYC. Oh, you wanna talk about Goop and Sam Altman? But now I know Gwyneth Paltrow is insane. Gwyneth Paltrow is insane, okay? Wait, should we talk about Next Gen NYC really quickly? Okay, let's talk about it really quickly, and then I need to go and do some work. But let's talk about it. Next Gen NYC. Put a little, Statue of Liberty emoji in the comments if you're watching. Um, because this has become one of my favorite shows on Bravo, and I didn't think that would be the case. Last year, I didn't like it, and now I'm like, "These kids are it." Okay, and B's watching it, Kamari, Marley. Okay, white boys talk this down. Rihanna, of course, is watching it. Okay, so we got some next gen NYC fans in the building. What are my thoughts on the show? Okay, this is a high overview. Rais is watching it. We're all watching it. Ariana, fab. Love her. She is it this season got really good. This season really got good. Love Ariana. I think she's kind of the breakout star of the show. Ariana, Georgia, and Charlie. I think those are kind of the lead girls. Riley is very interesting. We can get into Riley in just a second. Um, let's talk about Ariana and Liam and her ex. I was telling Brianna this. Ariana is new to the city. And I think this actually wraps up our conversation so well because this is the advice I would give Ariana. Ariana hasn't lived in the city for more than a year, I don't think. She's still like she's not adapted to the city. She hasn't adapted to the city. So she found this Liam guy. Liam is babe. Liam is that dude. Okay. She needs to tap the fuck into him because he's gonna have her in the Hamptons and on the boards of philanthropy societies and with a brownstone on the Upper West Side if she plays her cards right or a loft in Tribeca. That nigga is old school New York, Brianna. Exactly. He's hanging out with Spike Lee's son. Yeah. Yeah. But she doesn't know that yet because she's from Atlanta. She's a transplant. She doesn't get these things just yet. Maybe she's still dressing the same. So we still need to change that. But once she figures it out that Liam's the way, she's good. Okay? Making movies. Make the next Carolyn Bessette. Okay? But Ariana, you got it, baby, you got to clock in. Charlie is insane. Charlie does remind me of like every like white guy that I went to school with at Brown. Honey, chip on the shoulder, huge, because they lived in New York. They have money. They lived on the Upper East Side. Their parents weren't really around. They didn't have a lot of meet one-on-one time or any type of authority telling them when to be into the house and to when to do their homework. They are naturally smart though. So they did get good grades, but they were wilding out at school, skipping class, doing drugs, partying, taking advantage of the city, taking advantage of the city. Um, he's like Bethany Frankel's baby dad. Ladies, you run from charming men. Charlie is nuts. He is nuts. But he's smart and he's bored. So that's why he's creating evil. He hasn't found out what he wants to do with his life. He hasn't found out, where he wants to put his money that his daddy is clearly giving him again. His dad turned on the faucet, so now he has a proper home. You know, exactly. He's bored with money, and he's smart, so he's manipulating everybody in that damn cast. All right, Hudson. He's like, yeah, I'm a fuck your girl. I'm a fuck your girl. And Brianna's so green in the game. She's kind of like, She kinda likes it. She likes the attention. She likes the fun of it all, right? A bad boy. Um, yeah. I think his dad probably gives him more than that at this point. And then he's probably making some money on the side from deals and stuff like that. Yeah. He's doing okay. Um, and then who else? I Let me tell you this. Okay, MB exactly. So Hudson thinks that he's outsmarting Charlie, and he's not. He's not outsmarting Charlie. Charlie's like, "I'm on to all of you hoes. I'm from here. You flew here. This is my city, and I'm gonna run it the way I want to run it." Okay? If the crypto guys didn't take me down, you sure as hell aren't gonna take me down. Now let's talk about Georgia. I love Georgia now. I don't know, don't come at me. But she's Julia Fox's daughter. Do you know what I'm saying? She is Julia Fox's daughter. She is a dirty little white girl that lives in the city. She's exactly what the city is made of. She is a very good representation of her people. And by dirty white girl, I mean that she doesn't wash her hands and she's running around the city looking a mess. She also got some fillers in that face, honey. I saw it. I peeped it. I said, "You know what? Do with it what you wanna do. If you wanna get a little work done, well, no, 'cause you're on national television, do what you gotta do." It's very Julia Fox of you. It's very Julia Fox of you. It is. Who am I? Who am I to judge? Okay? But it's so funny to me because she's always like, "Ew, Brooklyn." I'm like, "Baby, you are so Bushwick coded, it's crazy." You are literally like their patron saint of Bushwick. Crazy. Like, what the fuck? What are we talking about here? Insane. Who else do I like? Oh, Ava. Let's talk about Ava. Let's talk about Ava and Riley. Ava and Riley are the 2 Black girls on the show having 2 totally different experiences, and I told Brianna about this and why that is. Okay. Ismahan, we're talking about, Next Gen NYC. Ava. Love Ava. Ava has come out of her shell a little bit. Last year, she was really, nose in the air, was really giving, snob. And then I think the eviction and then her father's bankruptcy kind of humbled her. And now I'm like, oh, you're a good time. You're a good time. You're a good time girl. You're fun. You were doing exactly what I was doing, dancing on tables, running around, living it up. Okay. Ava is a time. Okay. Now, Ava and Riley are having very different experiences on this show because, let's keep it a buck, pretty privilege because of the way that Ava looks and desirability politics. Riley got into it with Georgia earlier this season, and I was kind of like, Riley, babe, you're going to meet a lot of annoying white girls in New York, but you're not going to let them trip you up. Okay. You're not going to let them trip you up. And you need to let that go. When that happened, I was really shocked that she went home for two episodes. She went back to Atlanta, got her mind right. Apparently, she apologized to Georgia. Georgia let it go. Because you know what? Georgia was kind of like, whatever, you know? And yet, when she came back into the group, she was still hung up on Georgia. And I was like, Riley, snap out of it. You're doing way too much right now. You're doing way too much. The audience turned on Riley and she's still negotiating that. People are like, get her off the show. Riley was off the hook. But she still is coming for Georgia, and I'm like, "Babe, you've gotta let this go." It's li what did she say? "Let the mouse go." Okay? They should have definitely called her boyfriend sooner. They should have that night, they should have called her boyfriend a lot sooner. But Georgia wasn't even fazed by it. Do you understand? And she had an opportunity to start anew, and, like, she just wouldn't. And I was like, "You're still so hung up on this girl. You're gonna let this white girl push you out of your own fucking network. You grew up on this network, girl. This is you." I'm literally watching season 10 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Riley's been on this since she was a little girl. Like, you run this. Andy Cohen is like your godfather. You run this. Don't forget that, Riley. But these kids are trying to humble you, and it has a lot to do with desirability politics. If she looked like Ava, let's keep it a buck, things would be a little different for her. Charlie has wanted to get with Ava since season 1. Shy now has a crush on Ava. She's having a very different experience. This is why the audience is picking her apart, okay? I wish someone would step in and help her. Yes. Ignore her. Or, for the fucking gag of it, become her friend. But you talking about her at BravoCon? Boring. Boring. Like, come on. And I do think Ariana did a good job of being her friend. Because a lot of white girls, let me just keep it 100, they'll let you swing out there on your own. They will. I think they really did a great job. Brianna, real. That's a real topic. Who did she get signed on to be with, Ismahan? I know this show is, like, all over the place a little bit. Mm, she needs some help. She does. She can come talk to me. I'll help her. I'll be like, "Listen, I've been watching this ship since for years, almost 20 years now, and I can tell you this much as an audience member, you're flailing, not because you're bad, but because you are reacting to the wrong things." And I don't even know Riley's story. It's like, what are you in the city working on? I know Shy's working on a, clothing line. I know Georgia wants to open a club. I know that Charlie's trying to open a club. I know that Amira is an influencer. I know Ariana, we don't know what Ariana's up to. She's an influencer. So is Gia. I need to know, Riley, what are you working on? You trying to go to law school? What's up? Let's do it. I don't know why Candy hasn't told her. I think that Candy, and I've said this before, was also like Charlie's parents, rich and not there. She was busy building an empire. And Riley has talked about that often on this show. And so she was really raised by, I think, by, maybe a nanny, grandmother, aunties, who we all know are special. No disrespect. Nah, no disrespect. My elders, but they're special family. So she's struggling right now. I don't know if she's gonna come back next season, but I would hope that she would. Someone I could see leave, wouldn't feel bad about it, Brooks. Don't like Brooks. Brooks is boring and a baby, and what are we doing with this clothing line? You know? What are we doing with this clothing line? I just don't understand why someone like Brooks wouldn't just get a job at a fashion company. Because like, with all those connections, I would think that you could go work at, like, a major fashion company and learn something, and then boom, bop, boop, you've got a real clothing line, or you're working at a magazine, or you're doing something behind the scenes. I think also, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest, Brooks' approach to fashion is a very non-New York approach. Because when you're growing up outside of New York and away from the fashion industry, you often think that the only role in fashion is to be a designer. You don't know about all the other things that are happening in fashion that you could be a part of and you could be actually talented for. So maybe Brooks' real, you know, talent lies maybe in production. Maybe he's a good publicist. He gives publicist energy, you know? Maybe he would be very good um in styling, or he would be good um in maybe he could as an editor. We don't know, because he has a very, like, narrow idea of what it takes to be, popular, or not popular, but what it means to be successful in fashion. He does give publicist energy. Brooke Shill's daughter is hilarious. She's very cute, you know? Exactly, Brianna. It's like Jordan Wood's dad was OG in making things happen behind the scenes. Not everything has to be this front and center, because to be a designer and you don't know how to sew, and you don't have the wherewithal to go get the items that you designed, and they're in a warehouse in Austin, and you don't know how you're going to get items from Austin to New York. What the fuck? Like, you're too green. In fashion, there's so many emergencies, babe, that you have to learn to be smart, think on your toes. He needs a real education in the industry, and that's what I think is so annoying to watch, and he complains about everything, and he's a brat, and it's like his parents invested 100K into a business that what what are we doing? What are we doing? You should have called somebody at a magazine and had him come and intern, or call somebody at the Marc Jacobs. I could definitely see him at Marc Jacobs, you know? Do we need another clothing line, especially a bad one? No, we don't, Raisa. He only got that one track. I think he learned from his parents. It's like, "Oh, I can just, like, do this. I can be my own boss," which is a great, great quality to have, but, like, a lot of Gen Z, they don't have the endurance. Like, baby, we were bleeding and sweating and crying. He does. As someone who has a degree in fashion design, I absolutely think he should go to school. There is so much in making clothes and pattern making, okay? MB, I do too, but again, it's like we need to figure out what Riley's narrative is. These kids, and listen, they're young, so I'm gonna give them a beat. I didn't figure out what I wanted to do until I was like 30. So I'm still figuring it out. So it's a journey. But I will say that Brooks shouldn't be making tracksuits. That's a waste of your parents $100,000. They're not gonna get that money back. They're not gonna get that money back at all. Um, who else? Oh, I also don't like the way that he treats Shy. It's very She by Sheree. So, I don't like the way that he treats Shy, and I think that I don't like the way that the other kids treat Shy. Like, he's this annoying, hanger on. Joggers. Oh my god. Oh my god. You were so funny. Riley is doing great. She needs to ride as Ariana's best friend. I agree. I think there needs to be more of this. Y'all have me cracking up today. This has been the best fucking lie. Y'all are fucking cracking me up. Joggers. Brooks Marks joggers. September, spring, September. Sorry, what should I know? September, spring, summer. September, spring, summer? Yeah. Yeah. Is she by Sheree still around, by the way? I mean, some of the best marketing ever and like nothing. So sad. Like, Sheree just didn't want to do the work. Talk about a woman who didn't want to do the work. She was like, no, I'm good with that. I don't need to do all that. Watching season 10 is of Real Housewives of Atlanta, by the way, is amazing. It actually like really is. You know when they say past is prologue, it's like yeah, yeah. Um, it never. It did. It did, and it was very expensive for no reason. What else was I gonna say? Amira. I really like Amira now. She's growing on me. I will say, I don't know why she's still friends with Charlie after he made those transphobic comments, but yeah, I wouldn't be friends with someone like that. If someone was making anti-black comments and then they gave me some weird ass they said, "Listen, I probably did say it." I'd be like, "Okay, so we don't need to be friends anymore." It's crazy. It's a no. It's a no for me. Um, and who else? We talked about Brooke Shields' daughter. We like her. Gia, I also don't really like. I didn't know Gia was writing letters to Trump for her dad. I didn't know that. Scary. Scary stuff. Very scary stuff. Yeah. Um, Shy, I love. I think he's great. I think he's a sweetheart. I think they shit on Shy. I don't even think that he comes from a different economic class. Like, I think a lot of people online are like, "Oh, they're, like, making fun of him because he's not as rich." And I was like, "No, I think he's rich." I just think they're, like, making fun of him because he's I don't know, he's, like, earnest in a way that they're not used to, but he's absolutely, like, a humble, sweet boy. Yeah, I was like, "There's no way that that boy isn't rich." I mean, he's making Bodhi knockoff clothes as, like, a as a career, like, he's fine, and he, like I think he grew up in Hong Kong, and then he also grew up in Israel, and then moved to New Jersey. Right, so I don't know, girl. I mean, I guess you were right, but I know that her stepfather is a big Trump supporter. Louis, that fucking nut. That absolute nut. Um, okay, I think that's, like, all my thoughts on everybody, right? Am I missing anybody? No, I think it's all okay, that was a lot. That was a 2.5-hour live, but you guys, listen, it was really fun. This was needed and necessary. Um, I appreciate you tuning in. We should do this more often. This was real. Do Sundays work for y'all? I mean, I know everybody has lives and, you know, everything, so that's why and they have jobs. So it's like doing that at, like, noon, uh, on a weekday just seems maybe not best, but, like, maybe Sunday at noon works. So let me know if you want or if you can meet this time again, and we'll, like, figure it out. Um, hello? Oh, also, if anybody wants some merch, we have Your Favorite Auntie merch. We have hats, we have totes, we have nail files. Okay, Sunday's good. Okay, people, my voice is shot. I gotta go do some work, but this was great. Appreciate you, and maybe we'll be back next Sunday, same time. All right. Until next time, Auntie sends her love. Bye.